Stockholm, Sweden. An American tourist stands frozen on the platform of Slussen station, staring at her validated train ticket with genuine terror. She's just realized there are no turnstiles, no ticket checkers at the entrance, and no physical barriers preventing anyone from just ... walking on. For the past 15 minutes, she's been trying to find anyone to physically show her ticket to, convinced this is an elaborate sting operation. She finally stops a conductor and demands to know when the real ticket check happens. He explains Sweden runs on an honor system with random inspections. Her response? This is a socialist trap. You're setting people up to fail so you can fine them later. I know what you're doing. I've seen 60 Minutes. She spends the entire journey standing by the door, ticket clutched in hand, ready to present it to anyone who makes eye contact. The conductor watches her through 3 stops, wondering if he should explain that her aggressive ticket waving is making other passengers uncomfortable, then decides some cultural gaps are too vast to bridge before his shift ends. By the way, if you're the kind of person who sees the deeper story behind moments like this, stick around. I break down these cultural collisions every week, and subscribers never miss the nuance everyone else scrolls past. A different American in Munich discovers that German trains have first-class and second-class cars. He's booked second class but believes his American exceptionalism grants him automatic upgrades. When politely asked to move, he launches into a speech about how his grandfather helped rebuild Germany after the war. So technically his family owns part of this railway. The conductor, utterly exhausted, doesn't even respond, just stands there holding the ticket scanner until the American retreats Zurich Hauptbahnhof. An American businessman has missed his connection to Geneva by 90 seconds. Not because of any delay, the train left exactly on time, which is apparently the problem. He's at the information desk, constructing an elaborate complaint about how Swiss punctuality is unreasonable and designed to exclude foreigners. His theory: Swiss trains leave exactly on schedule as a form of economic protectionism, ensuring only locals who know the system can navigate efficiently. He's demanded to speak to someone about anti-competitive timing practices. He wants to know which government agency handles railway discrimination complaints. The information clerk, who has heard variations of this speech maybe 400 times, explains that the schedule is published months in advance and trains depart when they're scheduled to depart. The American counters that, in a customer-focused economy, trains should wait at least 5 minutes for rushing passengers. When told that would make every subsequent train late, he dismisses this with, "Just tell the other trains to go faster to make up time." It's basic logistics. He then produces his laptop and attempts to show her a PowerPoint presentation he's created in the last 20 minutes, titled Optimizing Swiss Rail for Global Citizens. She declines to view it. Meanwhile, another American has discovered that Swiss trains have silence cars and is having what can only be described as an emotional breakdown about it. He's on a work call, speaking at full volume, when an elderly Swiss woman politely points to the silence car symbol on the window. His response is to continue talking while making aggressive eye contact with her, establishing dominance. When she presses the call button for the conductor, he accuses her of harassment and demands to know if Switzerland has free speech protections or if it's still basically a monarchy. The conductor arrives and calmly explains the silence car concept. The American's counter-argument: "I paid for this ticket, which means I paid for the air in this car, which means I can vibrate that air with my voice however I want. That's property rights." He's asked to move to a regular car. He refuses, citing the fact that his seat reservation is specifically for this seat. When offered a free seat change to an identical seat 1 car away, he declines on principle, stating, "I won't be bullied by big train." He spends the next 40 minutes on his call. But now he's whispering so aggressively that it's somehow more disruptive than his original volume. And if you're noticing the pattern, hear that. These moments aren't accidents, but a whole worldview colliding with reality. Then you're already part of the audience this channel is for. Hit subscribe so the algorithm doesn't decide what you see next. You should. Every passenger in the car can hear his entire quarterly earnings discussion. In Lausanne? An American couple has brought full-sized rolling luggage, a cooler, to camping chairs, and what appears to be a disassembled tent onto a regional train during rush hour. They've commandeered 4 seats plus the aisle space and are genuinely confused why other passengers seem irritated. When a commuter asks if they could perhaps consolidate their belongings, the husband explains they're on vacation and deserve space to relax. He's set up one of the camping chairs in the aisle and is sitting there drinking a beer from their cooler like he's tailgating. His wife has removed her shoes and propped her feet on the facing seat. A Swiss conductor approaches with the kind of infinite patience that comes from deep cultural conditioning and explains the train. Etiquette regarding luggage and shared space? The American's defense: we paid the same ticket price as everyone else, so we have equal space rights. This is democracy in action, and informed that blocking the aisle is a safety violation. He argues that Switzerland's famous neutrality should extend to not taking sides in seating disputes. Conductor, who has clearly reached his limit for the day, simply radios ahead to have security waiting at the next station. The Americans are removed from the train, loudly declaring they're going to contact the American embassy about transportation discrimination. The wife films the entire interaction for her travel blog, narrating, "This is what happens when socialism controls the trains. No freedom." Tokyo, an American tourist has just discovered that Japanese train cars have priority seating for elderly, pregnant, and disabled passengers. He's sitting in one of these seats, scrolling his phone, when an elderly Japanese man boards. The entire car, about 40 people, is watching to see if he'll offer his seat. He doesn't. Not because he's actively cruel, but because he genuinely hasn't noticed the priority seating signs, the different colored seats, the floor markings, or the fact that everyone else in the section is either elderly or pregnant. A middle-aged Japanese woman very politely, in perfect English, explains the system to him. His response is confusion mixed with defiance. "But I have knee problems too. How is this fair? In America, we don't discriminate first come, first served." She tries again, explaining it's simply a cultural courtesy. He counters, "Cultural courtesy is just peer pressure with better marketing." I'm tired. I sat down first. Possession is 9/10 of the law, and that's American law, which is the best law. The elderly man, demonstrating truly heroic patience, just stands there quietly. The American, now aware that he's the center of attention, doubles down and closes his eyes, pretending to sleep. The tension in the car is so thick you could cut it with a knife. At the next stop, every single passenger exits and moves to a different car, leaving the American alone with his principles. He opens his eyes, sees the empty car, and his immediate thought is, must be their stop. The moment of self-reflection never arrives in Osaka. A different American has brought a rolling carry-on suitcase onto a train during morning rush hour and is blocking the door area, completely oblivious to the choreographed dance of Japanese commuters trying to board around her. She's created a human traffic jam affecting approximately 60 people, but is focused on finding the perfect angle for a selfie. When a station attendant very gently suggests she move toward the center of the car with her luggage, she responds, "I need to be near the door so I don't miss my stop." He explains with the patience of a saint that she'll have plenty of warning and time to exit. She's unconvinced and has now developed a theory that Japanese trains have a secret rule where they close the doors faster for foreigners to deliberately trap them. She shares this theory loudly with her phone while recording, saying, "You guys have to see this. They're trying to make me miss my stop as a tourist trap." This is probably how they fund their economy. A businessman in a suit, pressed against the door because her suitcase has claimed the entire vestibule area, makes eye contact with his colleague across the car. No words are exchanged. None are needed. They've both just experienced a shared moment of profound cultural exhaustion. At Kyoto Station, an American has become obsessed with the train departure melody system and is now convinced it's a government mind control experiment. Each platform plays a different tune when trains are arriving, and he's decided these melodies contain subliminal messages. He's been recording them on his phone for analysis and has approached a station worker to demand the scientific studies proving the sounds don't affect brain chemistry. The worker, whose English is limited but whose confusion is universal, tries to explain their simply pleasant sounds to prevent accidents by alerting passengers. The American is having none of it. Pleasant is subjective. What you call pleasant, I call suspicious. These frequencies are probably why Japanese people are so organized. You've been conditioned since childhood. He's created a voice memo documenting his research findings and is planning to publish his conclusions on his travel blog. His working title, The Kyoto Conspiracy: How Train Jingles Control a Nation.
Oh.
He boards his train, still recording the departure melody, narrating, "Notice how it makes you feel calm." That's compliance programming. The elderly Japanese woman sitting next to him slowly moves to a different seat, which he interprets as confirmation that she's afraid he's discovered the truth. Berlin Hauptbahnhof. The crown jewel of delusional American train panic. A tourist has been standing in the station for 45 minutes, paralyzed by the multi-level platform system. Berlin's main station has platforms on 3 different levels: underground, ground level, and elevated end. She's convinced this is a deliberate psychological warfare tactic designed to confuse foreigners into missing their trains and buying new tickets. She's developed an intricate conspiracy theory involving the Deutsche Bahn revenue model and tourist exploitation, complete with imaginary statistics. She's approached 6 different staff members, each time explaining her theory in greater detail, expecting them to crack and admit the truth. Her logic chain: no legitimate transportation system would be this complicated unless confusion was the goal. This is a profit maximization scheme disguised as infrastructure. A station manager who speaks flawless English and has dealt with confused tourists for 2 decades attempts to show her the very clear color-coded signs, the electronic boards showing platform numbers, and the multiple information screens. She dismisses all of this as theatrical misdirection and insists the real platform system is hidden. When he offers to personally walk her to her train, she refuses, stating, "That's what they want me to do, become dependent on guides so I never learn the truth." She misses her train to Prague, and her backup train, and the train after that. By the 4th missed departure, she's still in the station, now filming a video, explaining her theory to her social media followers. The station manager watches from his office window, drinking coffee, wondering if he should retire early. He's 52. He's thinking about it. I've only scratched the surface of how American logic melts when it meets a functioning train system. If you want to stay ahead of the next cultural meltdown and see the stories most travelers never know to subscribe now. I'll keep doing the research so you can enjoy the insight. The universal truth about Americans and foreign trains isn't that we can't figure them out, it's that we've decided our confusion is evidence of a conspiracy rather than our own failure to read signs. Every punctual departure is a personal attack. Every cultural norm is a tourist trap. Every kindly offered explanation is part of the cover dash-up. And somewhere, right now, an American is standing on a perfectly labeled platform, surrounded by helpful signage in 4 languages, missing their train while explaining to a baffled conductor why the real problem is the system, not their inability to arrive 3 minutes early. The conductor nods, says nothing, wonders if this is what diplomats feel